Hi friends, good afternoon everyone. This is S.Kiranmai from TSWREIS Jagityal College. Hope you had a good lunch and are ready to listen to my class. Are you all ready? Okay, I'm going to start my class. Okay, now what are you at present, what are you doing? The continuous activity, the physical activity which you are doing is? Yes, you are breathing right now. Yes? Okay. This breathing is required for the human life to sustain, right? So this oxygen is given from the plants. Yes, the plants are the major sources which provide oxygen to us. And how come you will know that you are getting oxygen from plants? It is a mechanism or it is a study. Yes? And this study of plants is known as nothing but botany. Yes. So my subject is botany, and you know there are many revolutions which have took place in the world. For example, you can take the American Revolution, and you can also take the Industrial Revolution. These are the best example for the revolutions. So there is another revolution which changed the total agricultural background of India. Can you name what is the revolution? Yes, you're absolutely correct. It is nothing but Green Revolution, and my topic is Green Revolution, a case study on Punjab. Okay. Yes. So Green Revolution, when you listen to the term Green Revolution, what do you think? You're a little bit familiar about Green Revolution, yes? Yes, Green Revolution is a well-known topic, but now I'm going to elaborate it a little and tell what Green Revolution has done to Punjab and Haryana particularly. So Green Revolution is the revolution which is also known as seed, water, pesticide and fertilizer technology or revolution. Can you tell me why it is known as particularly seed, water, fertilizer and pesticides revolution? Yes, because they used, in Green Revolution, they used the seeds, that is the hybrid variety seeds. There is requirement of more amount of water in Green Revolution for the growth of the plants, and pesticides which play the major role and give the resistance power to the plant. And the fourth thing is nothing but fertilizers. Yes, the fertilizers give the chemical support to the plant, and they support for the growth of the plant. Yes? Yes. And Green Revolution, it was started at the time like a story. That is, in the past, that is from the 1950s to the 1960s, India was in the brink mass of the famine. So that famine caused a drastical decrease in the food production due to the increase of population in India. So just because of the increase in population, we can see that the food production got reduced that time and the population was increasing day by day. This just happened during the period of 1950 to 1960s. Yes. So in 1950s and 1960s, this famine caused the drastical decrease of the food production and increase in population. So why did it cause? It is nothing but the population which is increasing day by day, it is unable to meet its the food production. And in the olden days, we find that we got adapted to the organic farming. We just started the agriculture. The agriculture is the main thing which supports total India, and we already know that rice is the staple food of our country. And hence, this farming is also a good thing, that is, it is the backbone to our country. Yes, all of you are aware. So after this, due to this famine and the increase of population and decrease of the food production, there is a famine, and this famine, to meet this famine consequences, they have introduced the Green Revolution. And particularly the Green Revolution was started by Norman Ernest Borlaug. That is Norman Borlaug, who is considered as the international father of Green Revolution. And this was started in Mexico. Just in Mexico also, Norman Borlaug conducted different types of experiments as a plant scientist, and he got to know some of the things, that is, he introduced the good variety that is nothing but the semi-dwarf plants. Can you tell me what is meant by a semi-dwarf plant? Yes. If the tall plant and the short plant is crossed together, we get the semi-dwarf plants. And these semi-dwarf plants are at present in our farming, that is in the agriculture field. These semi-dwarf plants are being used. And if you come to the tall plants, these tall plants, they have low resistivity, that is disease resistant power is very less, and they are unable to cope up with the whatever the weather conditions are there. If there is more wind, the plant gets moved, or it will get shuffled, and drastically it will get decreased. The plant production, whatever it is there, it will get decreased. So this are the influences, that is, this is the main cause that they took the experiment for crossing, that is the tall is crossed with the short plant and we get the semi-dwarf plants. And the semi-dwarf plants which was introduced by Norman Ernest Borlaug was brought into our country. Can you tell who is the person who led Green Revolution from our country? Yes, it is none other than M.S. Swaminathan. So M.S. Swaminathan led the Green Revolution in our country, and he was also a plant breeder who was interested then and there in the economic and Indian, whatever the Indian, this is the total country's problem. So he involved himself in the problem and he tried to give some of the other solutions for this. So this is just about the Green Revolution, and M.S. Swaminathan is also considered as the father of Indian Green Revolution. So let's move on to the PPT. So I'm going to show you some of the clippings, and you can know more about the Green Revolution. Please. Okay. So here you can look at the contents, that is I'm going to introduce and I'm going to tell about the Green Revolution, what are the methods and basic elements and causes of Green Revolution, the advantages, disadvantages and limitations. And coming to the second slide, that is the Green Revolution. So I have already told you that India was in the brink of mass famine in the early 1960s because of the rapidly growing population. So this that is Norman Ernest Borlaug brought the Green Revolution into our country, and then and there our scientist M.S. Swaminathan met our so let us come back to the screen. So it is about the famine, that is the whatever the famine which happened in the history, that is we can take the example of Bengal famine also. This is the famine which occurred that during that days. So the Green Revolution is the famine. So here you can see the Borlaug and Ford Foundation. They implemented the research, and a new variety of rice was introduced. After crossing the 38 varieties of rice varieties, they got the IR8 variety which was introduced into our country along with the pesticides and fertilizers. And today India has become one of the world's leading rice producers, and the IR8 is being used at present in our Asia, throughout the Asia. Yes. So, as I have told you before, this M.S. Swaminathan, when introduced the Green Revolution into our country, he brought it specifically to the Punjab and Haryana regions. So, can you tell why it was introduced just to the Punjab and Haryana regions? Yes, just because Punjab is having 5 rivers around it, and it was also having the best irrigation canal facilities before. That is during the British periods, it was having the good canal system. So that canal system was divided, that is the 5 rivers were taken into the canal system and they were divided, and that canals, whatever the irrigation and the water facilities, they are provided to Punjab and Haryana, and hence Punjab and Haryana were having more amount of water, that is lots of water which is required for the irrigation process, and hence this green revolution was introduced in Punjab and Haryana first, and then it went on to the other parts of the country. Then let us move on to the next slide. So why was the revolution needed? It just brought some drastical change in the economical and also the different agricultural field over the country. That is the famine. It has attacked many parts of India just because of the growing population, and the food production was decreased, and consequently the changes have occurred in the field of agriculture, that is the green revolution was brought into the country, and the government was also unable to provide or ensure the proper movement of good areas to what were in the need. And the next, so how did India benefit? Okay, we know that it was introduced to India, but how did India benefit? You can see in this slide, that is it has brought out many types of changes, that is the high yielding crop varieties were introduced, and different types of pesticides and fertilizers were bought into the market, and they were sold at the good price, and most areas, that is the cropping areas, the farm areas were elevated, that is they were extended to a great extent, and the production has increased. So during 1960s to 1950s, due to the organic farming, in 1960s and 1970s, due to organic farming, the production, that is whatever the production was there, it was from 50 to 70 million tons, but it then changed after the green revolution. It changed to 270 tons per million of rice was produced. And this green revolution was particularly introduced in rice varieties, and then wheat, and then it moved on to the other varieties. Let's come back to the screen. Okay, so as I have already told you, because of this famines, the green revolution was started, and the green revolution, it is the basic thing that we change the total agricultural background of our country. And green revolution, it is also playing at present, also green revolution is playing more and more importance in our agricultural fields. Can you tell why? Nothing but it is taken as an example, that is a green revolution. It is a increase of the food, it is just introduced for the increase of the food production, and also to meet the hunger of the people. So many people died regarding this before the green revolution. Many people starved a lot, and they also got really they were in the brink mass conditions that they were unable to sustain their life furtherly. So let's move on to the PPT. Then you can see here the green revolution in India. So the green revolution in India, as it was led by M.S. Swaminathan, and he also reached the then and their government, that is the Congress government, where Mrs. Indira Gandhi was there, and he requested Mrs. Indira Gandhi to get the particular variety, that is the IR8 variety, which was introduced in Mexico to our country. And green revolution period was from 1960s, that is the 1967 to 1978. So this is the period of green revolution in India. Let's move on to the another slide. So I want to just tell you what are the elements which are and what are the methods which are used in the green revolution. You're already looking onto the screen. I'm just going to explain it. So this green revolution, as I've already told you, it increased the expansion of farmlands was more and more, and the high yield variety use was more, and the double cropping system was also started. That is, the double cropping system is nothing but it consists of two seasons, that is the natural monsoon and the artificial monsoon. Natural monsoon is nothing but the rain which occurs in the monsoon time, and that season which gives the adequate rainfall, enough rainfall for the growth of the crop. And the artificial monsoon is nothing but the irrigation which we are providing by the canals. Okay. So these are the basic elements, and these are the specific methods which are used in the Green Revolution. So coming to these varieties, expansion of farmland is the must thing, because during that times, during the famine, we cannot tell specifically that this much is required to the people. So we have to go on expand the farmlands so that we can get the more food production, and which meets the people's needs, which increases the food productivity. So as this Green Revolution, before this Green Revolution, we have organic farming, as I already told. This organic farming, as we got less number of grains, we got the need to import different types of food grains from other countries. But after the Green Revolution, it totally changed. That is, the production was adequate to us, and it was enough good, and the people started exporting their different types of food grains to the other countries. Such great is the Green Revolution, and it totally changed the agricultural background of India, and the farmers were also mostly benefited. Can you tell me why the farmers were benefited? Just because the introduction of pesticides and fertilizers. So before the organic farming, it played an important role, but now, according to the ecological situations or the environmental situations, just whatever the Green Revolution, it was suitable to this period. That is, it was suitable for the increase of the food productivity. So let us move on to another slide. So just a small introduction about the Green Revolution. So as I told it already, Green Revolution is also known as the seed, water, fertilizers, pesticides technology, and it started in 1965 to 1978, and it started particularly in Punjab and Haryana, and it started only with wheat and rice. And he is Dr. Norman Borlaug, and he was the scientist who introduced the IR8 variety to our country. That is, he experimented on different types of rice varieties and brought up the semi-dwarf plant to our country. Then he also got the Nobel Peace Prize and the Congressional Gold Medal and more for his different types of varieties and his inventions in rice, just because the Green Revolution has changed the total India, and father of Green Revolution. So he is the Indian father of Green Revolution, and he led the Green Revolution as the project director from India, that is Dr. M.S. Swaminathan, and he was supported by Dr. Norman Borlaug, who experimented on the Green Revolution. Okay, so these are the things which included under Green Revolution. And coming to the advantages of Green Revolution, Green Revolution is having many advantages and as well as disadvantages also. When coming to the advantages of Green Revolution, you can see that the yields increased 3 times, it was multiple cropping, and fertilizers were increased, pesticides were increased, and India became self-sufficient in food grains. So self-sufficiency is nothing but India is sufficient. India has got sufficient grains, food grains, and it also started importing different types of food grains to the other countries. So these are the advantages of Green Revolution, and not only on wheat and rice, particularly starting the Green Revolution, they started with the rice and wheat varieties. And after wheat and rice, they introduced this Green Revolution technology to total crop plants. That is, they got more and more profit because of the Green Revolution. So this is all about green revolution and advantages of green revolution. So multiple cropping method is, you are well aware about the multiple cropping system. That is nothing but in a particular acre they are going to cultivate different types of plants, that is the multiple cropping, and they are going to get not only the food grains but also different types of like pulses, etc. This is the multiple cropping system, and the yield, whatever the yield with which was not possible with the organic farming, it started and increased into 3 times while using the chemical fertilizers and pesticides. And the purchase of fertilizers and different types of machinery, you know that for the agriculture we need different types of machinery and different types of fertilizers. So these fertilizers, they play the major role. The fertilizers which are used by different chemicals which are mixed with the different chemicals, they play a major role for the crop production and increase of the crop production. And machinery, whatever the machinery which is used in the crop system also was introduced then and there, and India also was self-sufficient with its food grains and also started exporting different types of food grains to other countries. So these are the advantages of green revolution. And so as we have many advantages in green revolution, as well we have the many disadvantages of green revolutions also. So now let us look at some of the disadvantages of the green revolution, and let us move into the subtopic, that is a case study on Punjab and why they have mostly introduced this to the Punjab and Haryana. As told before, it is nothing but Punjab and Haryana were having more and more water facilities and also different types of facilities. The land fertility was really good in Punjab and Haryana, and hence they introduced this to Punjab and Haryana areas. So let us move on to another PPT. So wheat and rice. So in 1963, several varieties of such as Sonalika and Kalyan Sona, these are the wheat growing belts which are introduced in our country. After rice, they moved it on to the, the North Indians, they consider most of the food, the total India staple food is rice, but the North Indians, they give more importance to wheat. Right, because they eat more roti and chapati, and they eat rice less. We can consider that in the North India, they also started, after the rice, they also started this varieties, that is they improved the Kalyan Sona and Sonalika varieties, different types of wheat, which was extended from rice to the wheat. Okay, then coming to the next slide. Okay, here is the Indian father of Green Revolution, M.S. Swaminathan, and he gave a quote that if agriculture fails, everything else will fail. And coming to the next slide, food is the moral right of all who are born into this world. This was said by the famous scientist who introduced the Green Revolution, that is Dr. Norman Borlaug, the father of Green Revolution. Okay, and next slide is the crop plants and the hybrid varieties. So as I have told you, in this Green Revolution, they'll use different types of varieties. Mainly they use the hybrid varieties. Why hybrid? Because hybrid give more and more yield, and they double and triple, that is into 2, into 3, they'll improve the different types, and they improve the food grains productivity also. So these crop plants were introduced to the hybrid varieties, that is they were bought. In wheat, if we take, we get Sonalika and Kalyan Sona, and in rice, Jaya and Ratna, the hybrid varieties, and in cauliflower, that is Pusa Shubhra and Pusa Snowball, and in cowpea, it is Pusa Komal, and in mustard, it's Pusa Swarnim. So these are the crop plants which are majorly taken into consideration, and they are given the hybrid varieties, that is they give the more yield and the more profit to the farmer. These are the crop plants and hybrid varieties which are introduced for the wheat, rice, cauliflower, cowpea, and also mustard in our country. And at present, the most used rice, that is the hybrid variety of rice which is running at present in our state, is Batukama variety, and which I got to know about the plant, which is that is the hybrid variety which is running now is Batukama. That is the variety introduced by the rice research centers, and all the scientists, they gave the Batukama variety, which is very good, and disease resistant, and also it is resistant to the weather conditions. Whatever the weather conditions are, the plant will get adjusted to it. So let's move on to the next slide. So here you can see the green revolution, the production got doubled, and the food security, the higher yield, poverty elevation, and employment generation. So one by one, if we take, the production has doubled. That is the grain production, which was a little before, went into 3 and into 4 times, and it developed the production and it was double. And the food security, whichever the food is there, the particular food is it got a particular security, and it was introduced to the market with the high secure things, and there is nothing different with the food security and the high yield varieties. This green revolution is mostly given into the high yield varieties. It was introduced just to give the high yield variety crops, and by using the hybrid varieties, hybrid variety seeds. And poverty elevation, so removal of poverty and employment generation. So for the chemicals production and also for different types of machinery production, we need many, that is not only machine power, we need the manpower also. So employment generation was also a plus point to the green revolution in our country. Then coming to the next slide. Methods used in green revolution. So whenever we take a particular thing, or if we prepare a recipe itself, we take many methods and the precautions along with many things. So in the same way, these are the methods used in the green revolution. You can see on the screen, that is the multiple cropping system, and the seeds are with superior genetics, the proper irrigation system, high yielding variety seeds, pesticides and fertilizers, modern machines, and expansion of farming areas. Okay, multiple cropping system, as I've already told you, will have different types of crops, and that is multiple cropping only in one area. And seeds with the superior genetics are nothing but the seeds with the hybrid varieties, that is they can increase the food production more and more. That are the seeds with the superior genetics. And proper irrigation system. The proper irrigation system, that is a plant needs, the basic thing is water for its growth. So the proper irrigation system was then in the Punjab and Haryana. It was having the good irrigation system which drastically increased the food production. And high yielding variety seeds. High yielding variety seeds are nothing but the varieties, different types of seeds in which the hybrid varieties were introduced, as I've already shown you in the previous slide. So these are the high yielding variety seeds which give the more food production and grain production in our country. And coming to the pesticides and fertilizers, we already know the chemicals which give protection to the plant from the different types of pests. Those are considered as pesticides. And the fertilizers, they give chemical strength to the plant, particular plant, for its growth. They support its growth, and they provide different types of nutrients. From the chemicals also we can give the different types of nutrients for the plant for its sustainability. And the modern machines, the usage of modern machines were more and more. Now also if you visit a particular field, you can see different types of modern machines. Okay. Then expansion of farming areas. So farming areas were really expanded so that we can increase the food grain production. These are the methods which are used in the green revolution. And let's move on to the next slide. So here I can show you a farmer who is in the field. He's with his field, and he's a Punjab farmer. So in that way you can see how the farmer is benefited with the green revolution. He's really happy with his crop. And the next slide is, okay. So this are, until now I have told you the advantages, main advantages of the green revolution. As the coin has two sides, in the same way, whichever thing it is taken into the consideration, it has two sides, that is the advantages and disadvantages. In the same way, this Green Revolution gave more and more and more profit to our country, but in the same time it did more loss to the particular places, that is the Punjab and Haryana. So why did it do so? That is the subtopic, that is a case study on Punjab. Why is the case study conducted at particularly in Punjab is because of the high usage of the fertilizers and the high usage of the modern machines. What were the consequences the farmers faced during the farming is detailedly explained in the disadvantages of the Green Revolution. So let's move on to the slide. So here you can see the crisis in Punjab. So Punjab region was once considered as the breadbasket of India, and it was inhabited by the Sikh minority. So crisis in Punjab, the heading itself something depressed, or the something negative topic, that is the crisis. All of you know what is meant by crisis. It is nothing but lack. What the crisis is like a famine which was faced by the Punjab due to the ethnic and religious tensions and the independent Sikh state. It was really a hot climate which took place in the Punjab. And the next slide is, okay, so crisis in Punjab arise due to the negative impacts on the Green Revolution. So as we can take the example directly of the advantages and link it to the disadvantages of Green Revolution. So as I already told you, the advantages are nothing but the multiple cropping system and usage of high yield variety system, high yield variety seeds, and the pesticides and fertilizers more and more. So when coming to the multiple cropping system, a person who's earning a farm, he'll have only limited, that is the area will be limited, and maybe the farmer may be a poor farmer and he cannot afford to do the multiple cropping system. So all farmers are not rich and all farmers are not poor. That is particularly in Punjab during that time, whatever the condition was there, the multiple cropping system was not carried on by all the farmers just because of the poverty. So that is the main drawback of the crisis, which is the negative impact on the Green Revolution. And coming to the high yielding variety seeds, so whenever you go to the market and buy a particular product, you just estimate the rate. So this product has this rate, this and that. So when coming to the high yielding variety seeds, obviously high yielding variety seeds, they give the good seed production, whatever the grain production will be more, but it costs more. Then what about the poor farmers? What about the poverty which is stuck to India like gum? So the farmers were unable to buy the high yielding variety seeds, and obviously they faced lot of problem due to the poverty, and the government has also not fully supported all the farmers. That is about the high yielding variety system. And coming to the pesticides and fertilizers, all of us know this, the pesticides and fertilizers, they take a lot of money. They cost really high. So these poor farmers, they are unable to buy these pesticides and fertilizers. After getting the pesticides and fertilizers also, there is another problem. Can you imagine the problem? It is nothing but the side effects of the pesticides and fungicides, or whatever the fertilizers which are being used for the plant. The plant, it is given fertilizers, and the fertilizers should be supplied by the man, as we already know. So these fertilizers, without any precautions, so we need some or the other precautions when we spray particular fertilizer. We have to use the hand gloves, we have to use the masks to protect ourselves totally from affecting, that is the fertilizer effect should not be on our body. So the farmers who are unaware about all these instructions, they use the fertilizers without wearing the gloves and without proper care. So then they were affected with different types of cancers. So here I can mention you the greatest, the piteous condition in Punjab is the cancer train. Cancer train is one of the sensation after the Green Revolution, that this cancer train used to carry the cancer patients who were really affected with the fertilizers and usage of fertilizers and pesticides, and they were really it was a hearty condition that the farmers, they were affected with cancer. As we already know that farmers are the backbone for our country, the same farmer was suffered with cancer, and it's just an unimaginable thing. So here the farmers suffered with most of the cancers by the high usage of fertilizer. So when we use the fertilizer in a more way, the production is more. So if you use the fertilizer in a normal way, the production is normal. So as there is a great increase in the usage of the fertilizer, then it led to the cancers. And coming to the usage of modern machines, you know, the modern machines, whether it is small one or it is large one, it costs much. So the farmers who are really poor cannot afford to buy those type of machines. So those machines cost really big, and the cost was the farmer was unable to bear the cost, and hence the modern machines were not bought up by the farmers. And the secondary thing by the usage of this modern machine is sound pollution. So the tractors or whatever the implements which are being used in the fields, we already know that they create a lot of sound pollution. And coming to the fertilizers, besides side effects on human beings, they create a lot of disturbance in the soil itself. So the soil, it will lose its fertility and ability to hold the water, or the ability to resist, and everything will be lost from the soil. The total nutrients which are present in the soil will totally be vanished off, and then the soil will lose its nutrients, and it can't further support the plant growth. And this also happens just because of the fertilizers and pesticides. And by the usage of the pesticides, we have another ecological great negative impact on the ecology. That is nothing but by eating these pesticides, whatever the pests are there, the rats and the sparrows will also they die. That is because of the spraying of pesticides and fertilizers. This has also been included in the negative effects of Green Revolution. And so these, regarding farming, the main thing now at present we are facing is that irrigation facilities. So irrigation facilities are more in Punjab. They are more in Punjab, but the high usage of water, that is the irrigation, the more the fertilizer is or pesticide is sprayed, the more it needs the water. So a plant to sustain its life needs water very much. So that water should be provided continuously to the farm. But hello? Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Hello?
Hello, Kiranmai. This is Yamini from Mahindra Hills College.
Hi, Yamini. How are you?
Yes, I'm very
Yamini,
fine. Yeah, I hope you are also fine.
Yeah, I'm fine. So, Yamini, tell me, what is your doubt? Yamini,
Coming to the point.
Yamini, can you please
Coming
reduce
to
the
the
TV
point,
volume?
is Green Revolution is sustainable or not? Sustainable or not?
Can you please reduce the TV volume and speak? Please repeat the question.
Is Green Revolution is sustainable or not?
Okay. So, I am going to clarify your doubt. Green Revolution, it as I've already told you, it has the negative impacts and positive impacts. When we consider both the impacts, it is particularly once during the famines, it favored our country. But in the same way, it also destroyed the lives of the human. It is good to the plants, that is the fertilizers, whatever we use, they are good to the plants. That is, at present you are telling that green revolution, okay, it's good. It is running at present also, it is running in our country. That is, the usage of pesticides and fertilizers is high and is also causing many adverse effects on our environment. It is, at present it is going on. But this particular green revolution has caused many loss of life. That is, the farmer deaths were taking place infinitely. So that is why the green revolution, it is sustaining at present, but in a norm, it should be controlled. So everything which is it is not under control is not considered as good. So that is why green revolution is sustainable, but in a controlled and limited way. Thank you, Yamini, for asking such a good question, and hope you're clarified with the thing. Okay, so as I have told, these are the influences which took place in the country, that is the negative effects. So mainly on Punjab, it really played a bad impact. That is, the negative impact was more and more and more on Punjab and Punjab. So the farmer deaths, obviously now also we are facing the farmer deaths. That is just because of the poverty, that is they are unable to bear. So if the government itself provides a good support to the country and to the farmer, then we can get on with all these problems and the country will be really free. You already know that the Andhra, our Andhra Pradesh, at present Andhra Pradesh is considered as the rice bowl of South India. You're already aware of that. So this rice bowl should not be contaminated with the pesticides and fertilizers. So that is the main thing the green revolution should do. It should control, it should be under a control that in that way, so that it would maintain the peace. That is, whatever the farmers who are considered, that is the poor or whoever the farmers are available, they are unable, they don't have enough time and they don't have enough money to do. So we should obviously we have to eradicate the poverty and many things to run the green revolution. I think in the future also we may need the green revolution. Yes, that is because the green revolution, once upon a time it occurred a famine, but in the future also, maybe due to the increase of the population, we may get another revolution also. So that is also the main point which can be included in the green revolution. Okay, so overall this is the topic and about the green revolution and the crisis in Punjab. So as I've already told you, Punjab is mostly has got many positive effects, and at the same way it really was affected a lot with the farmer deaths and the cancer trend. It is really horrible, and it was the main thing which caused the crisis in Punjab, and many deaths regarding the fertilizers and regarding the poverty happened in Punjab. So this should be controlled just by the government if the funds were released, and the farmers support, whoever farmers who are farming, they have to get the good support. That is, they have to get everything equally, because rice is the staple food of India. So taking consider on India, a farmer should live. But now at present, whenever we see a farmer's condition, it is really horrible that the farmer's son, whoever the farmer is present, one farmer doesn't want his son to become a farmer. That is the really horrible thing, just because of the poverty which is going on in our country. So these are all the things, and let me recapitulate once again. What is the green revolution? It is the seed, water, pesticide, fertilizer revolution, and it started in 1950 to 1960s, 1970s. It started in 1950 to 1960s, and it drastically changed the total agricultural background of our country. And this green revolution was brought out by Dr. Norman E. Borlaug from Mexico, that is the semi-dwarf plants. And there is also another variety, that is the TN1, variety and also IR36 disease resistant variety. So this IR36 is considered as the disease resistant variety, which was brought out by our scientists after doing many types of experiments. And coming to the India's Green Revolution, it was led by M.S. Swaminathan, and he is considered as the Indian father of Green Revolution. And he led the Green Revolution by the help of the then government, Mrs. Indira Gandhi government. And these are all about the things. That is my topic, Green Revolution and the crisis, a case study in Punjab. And thank you everyone for listening my class so patiently. And first of all, I thank our dad, R.S. Praveen Kumar sir. Sir, I'm heartfully thanking you for giving us such a good opportunity to prove ourselves as lecturers in the Super Students program. And I also thank the TSAT channel for giving us a good opportunity regarding to prove ourselves as a good lecturers, and keep supporting our TSWREIS societies, and keep supporting everyone. And I also thank my principal, and I also thank my lecturers, and also mainly the resource persons. They help me a lot, and I am here just because of my parents. I also thank my parents and also God for giving me such a good opportunity. Thank you everyone. Thank you for giving me such a good opportunities. And once again, let us meet in another session with a really good topic and really good things that you have to learn more and more. And Jai Bhim, Jai TSWREIS, read well, eat well, and sleep well. Take care of yourselves. Thank you.